Greetings everyone from across the world. We have members from across 32 countries. So, as a Toastmaster of the day, the meeting is going to be divided into three parts. The first part would be where the speakers would be coming, and Leadership Speak has a very special, unique speech in every meeting. I would be describing about that. After that, we will have a battalion of evaluators and reporters who would be coming. And after that, we will have a guest interaction. Our president will have guest interaction, and which is integral part of each and every meeting in Leadership Speak. After all this, we don't stop. Even after closing the meeting, we would be doing some roles because of the changes in the pathways. If anybody wants to do any role, including the guest, they are most welcome to stay back. We will do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, leading with collective genius. Let me share the theme of what it is and how to be a collective genius would be shared by our education speaker in much detail. So, collective genius. Dr. Ralsei Smedley had said Toastmasters is a laboratory. Now, if you think about it, it's a laboratory to conduct your public speaking experiments and leadership experiments. And whatever experiments we do here, we learn and we share with each other. The earlier myth of leadership was the solo genius, a leader standing on top of the mountain and a big army behind him, ready to move in the direction the leader wants them to move. So we used to say a leader is someone who knows the way, shows the way, and go the way. But in today's world, most of the leaders don't have a clear vision. Why? Because the world changes so fast that with a static vision, you cannot move forward. So, in that world where we don't have exact vision, the best way is to lead with collective genius. Here, the leader needs to step back, understand the strength of the entire team, and let the team pitch in. One interesting definition of team intelligence by John Levy, a behavioral scientist, he says that the job of every team member is to make the team more intelligent. Think of this. The job of every team member is to make the team more intelligent. That is what we do in Leadership Speak from the last 4 years. So, our valuable members and the most valuable guest, be what do you say? Tighten your seatbelts. You are in for a great ride of joy and collective genius. And to do this, we have two important people who are going to support us in this. The first, we say that time management is life management. Every meeting has a timer. So for today's meeting, our timer is Helin from Vietnam. About the theme, she says, I believe that the most effective leaders today are those who unlock the collective intelligence of their team rather than relying solely on their expertise. Helin is a physicist and educator who loves exploring new experiences. She is interested in developing effective communication and leadership skills to connect better with people and foster collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the timer of the day to explain the role. Toastmaster Helin, please explain the role. The screen is yours.
Good day, fellow Toastmasters. I am your timer for today's meeting. I will time each speaker according to the agenda and signal using visual background colors. Green, yellow, red. After each segment, I will post the timing results in the chat. Thank you. TOMD.
Thank you very much, Timer Halin. And she will also be posting the time after all the speakers speak and the evaluators speak. And I just mentioned about John Levy and the definition of team intelligence. The job of every team member is to make the team more intelligent. And during our Thursday practice session, Halin told me, Vinod, you speak very fast. So I am taking that in mind and I will speak a little bit slow, Halin. Thank you very much for that feedback. Each and every member over here gets feedback on Thursdays and on Tuesdays, and that's how together we all grow. The second support pillar of this meeting is someone who will be improving our vocabulary by giving us a new word and also sharing and recording the word usage. The grammarian for today is Toastmaster Rashmi. She is from Tanzania. She serves as the president of Dar Toastmasters Club, where she leads with her guiding acronym team. Together we go, excellence we strive. Action we take and momentum we build. She champions leadership with collective genius, believing in moving from I lead to we lead, to unlock the strengths already present in the room. Under her leadership, aligned role and shared ownership have turned vision into achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Rashmi. Toastmaster Rashmi, please explain your role. Thank you.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As grammarian, today I will be listening carefully to all speakers for language usage. I will also take note of all the improper usage of the language and outstanding words, vocabulary, quotes, and thoughts. Now it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day today is synergy. It means the combined power of a group that produces a greater effect than individual efforts alone. Example in a sentence is, great leaders create synergy that turns individual strengths into collective genius. I will encourage every speaker to use the word of the day, synergy. At the end of the meeting, when I'm called upon, I will share the report, my grammarian's report, which will include the outstanding words and as well as proper usage of the word of the day. And now I will request Toastmaster of the day to come forward. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rashmi, for the word of the day, synergy. I would request all the members and guests, whatever comes to your mind with that word, just put it in the chat. Make a sentence and put it in the chat. I am going to count till 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's see. Okay, Tony has just mentioned the word. So synergy brings the energy. I need one more word. The meeting is being ran with a lot of synergy. Completely agree. Done. Thank you very much. Please let the words keep coming. One more thing as a TMOD, I would like to encourage all the members and guests is after you listen to a speech, if you feel something connected, just put it in the chat box that this connected. And if something didn't connect it, please put it privately. Don't put it in the group. Right? So just mention whatever you like from the speech or what the takeaway was for all the speakers. I would like to encourage all of you to give feedbacks to all our speakers also. Now, a very special speech that usually we have before the timer and the grammarian is something in leadership speak. For every meeting, we celebrate our success. As Ralsei Smedley had said, learning happens during the moment of fun. And leadership speak make sure that we have fun in every meeting and we celebrate it in the form of a toast. So today, the toast or the speech, special occasion speech, is going to be presented by someone who is the current president of Leadership Speak. He works for Singapore government. He's joining in today from Malaysia. What he thinks about the theme, I will tell later when he does one more role. But please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Holmes to give the special occasion speech of Toast. Toastmaster Holmes, thank you. Screen is all yours.
Thank you, TMOD. Fellow leaders, imagine you are in a meeting. You effectively have two choices. Number one, as the meeting chair, you can assume that you are a know-it-all. That also means you take on all the responsibility and the blame, assuming you got a crystal ball. The other option, which we are here to examine, to learn, to celebrate, is collective genius, to lead with collective genius. What does this mean? When we lead our teams, especially when we have the team together for a discussion, the focus is not what I as the meeting chair or I as the leader know. It's what the teams know. How we can encourage the different team members to be able to express their thoughts. In the process, express their thoughts with confidence, with rigor, knowing that the leader is listening, knowing that the team wants and celebrates the different perspectives. This is when each of our team members truly can shine with their own expertise. And here I'm making a bold assumption that leaders here, when you choose your team members, when you hire your team, you bring together people with diversity, different views, different growing up experiences, different cultural exposures. And that would truly bring different ideas together as collective genius. The job as a leader then becomes a facilitator, becomes to some extent also a coach and a mentor, orchestrating with synergy the different ideas, the different ways of doing things, so that as a team, be it whether you are holding something that is more personal or community, or something that is more business-minded or towards government serving your citizens, the different ideas, the different perspectives ensures that a singular weakness does not become the weakness of the team. It is the collective intelligence or the collective genius that our teams build our foundations on. And from there, we serve. Members and guests, fellow leaders, at this time, I invite you to unmute yourself, switch on your cameras, prepare your glasses. Together, toast to leading with collective genius.
Leading with collective genius.
Leading with collective genius.
Genius.
TMOD.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Holmes, for that amazing toast. I can hear some noise. Someone's mic is on. Zoom Master, please just, I would request. Yeah, now it's much better. So now we had the celebration of toast. This is for the benefit of guests. All meetings in Leadership Speak have a toast. And also the upcoming speech, which is USP of Leadership Speak. Out of the 52 weeks, 51 weeks, we have the Leadership Speak education speaker. That is a speech like a keynote style speech, which is for 15 to 20 minutes, which is unique to Leadership Speak because we have this in every meeting. What it means to you as a guest, if you join, you can be a speaker who would be speaking in the coming weeks. And to all the new members also, I would request, please do that. I would request our Zoom master to please put on the chat our agenda as well as the guest book. Dear guest, please enter all your details, the field that is mentioned in the guest book. Someone from our club, XCOM, would definitely get in touch with you if you are interested to join or want to know more about the club. Now, the next segment, the USP of Leadership Speak, the education speech. Before going into the education speech, I would call the evaluator of the education speaker, Toastmaster Joyce, to read the purpose of the speech. Toastmaster Joyce, may I please welcome you to read the purpose of the speech. Zoom Master, please highlight our evaluator for the LS Leadership Speak speaker, Toastmaster Joyce. The screen is all yours, Joyce.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today, I have the amazing pleasure of evaluating Jyothi Thomas. Jyothi Thomas is an amazing, intelligent, and charming person. Her speech objective is for the speaker to prepare and speak professionally and present a keynote in a styled speech exemplifying a professional level speech. Her pathway is engaging in humor, and her time is 18 to 22 minutes, and her speech title is Collective Genius. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Evaluator Toastmaster Joyce. Now, our speaker, about the theme, what she says, she's all the way from Chennai, India. She says, I personally believe in collective genius because shared intelligence outperforms individual brilliance. It retains unity, dignity, and team spirit. I have personal experience. It's just that the team collective genius is interesting. Jyothi has a deep sense of social justice with unquenchable learning spirit. She has been a part of her family business for more than 100 years. It's a 100 years old daily newspaper in India. She is an entrepreneur and a CAN consultant, Creative Artists Network, since 1995. A social entrepreneur, project curator with the unorganized sector, a senior corporate trainer, speaker, mentor, NLP, Gestalt therapist. She has closed all 11 paths, now working on 6th path on the learning management system of Toastmasters. Her philosophy in life is lift as you rise. Speech title. The speech title is Slice of Genius. Slice of Genius, Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas. The screen is all yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Slice of Genius. June 2025, I stood right here before the same group with more people for a social speech, an acceptance speech. And the title I chose for that was Shared Triumph. When we were all given this, oh wow, from Leadership Speak. When I could choose that particular title, what do you think I did? Quickly, I sent a message to Gerda, to Sandra, and I said, this is the title. Tell me which one will go well. And they picked Shared Triumph. Today, I'm here purely bringing in the synergy from each and every one of you. The minute Toastmaster of the Day told me collective genius, I just took the word, the meaning as is. Collective genius, and bingo, that lit the fire. Am I going to educate you today? No, absolutely no. I started learning so much. As you see, every slice of knowledge from each and every one of you here, from anybody across, makes everybody a genius. Colleagues have shaped my ideas. Friends have strengthened my courage. It's not about a solo climb. Now when I look at it, I wonder, whatever I share, probably all of you have gone through that. Think about it. Chuckle if you have to. How many of us know that one person and we say killjoy, wet rag, but we don't have the energy to say that out loud? What is collective genius? It rang that bell in my head right there. I've lived it every day, but the word was so enticing. He sent me the link, he sent me videos, and I was drowning myself with that knowledge. And today I'm here to share with all of you. Have you all ever been in a situation where you find somebody in a room, they come and tell, now I'm going to let all of you share your thoughts, and say it is a Zoom meeting before you can even go and click the unmute button? Suddenly you hear the same voice telling, oh, well, never mind. I will share it first. Loud. Let me share my views. How many of you? And once you hear that voice, you go, hush. What if leadership today is no longer about owning the biggest slice? Every person carries a slice of genius. And all of us know, we talk about multiple intelligence, the special sparkle each one adds to anything they share. That is what we are exploring today. What is collective genius? And that has been beautifully brought across by a Harvard professor, Linda Hill. I've just only heard about her, but during the course of this learning over the 3 weeks, I realized we still don't know enough. She worked with so many organizations, and especially Pixar, and came up with brilliant research over 2 decades along with her colleagues. We always must remember, it's very easy for us to just say what we want. This is the genius lady. As you see, she talks about innovation of leaders. Now, it's not just a talk. It's what she saw, researched, went across everywhere to see what is it that makes leaders, not just leaders up there, but bring everybody into the same spirit, staying united. And the 3 principles she shared. The 3 key principles that she shared is creative aggression, creative agility, creative resolution. Now, what is it? Let me ask, how many of us have even gone through it? If you have, please go ahead and post it on the chat box to tell us that you just know about her. Well, I would come to you because you'll be the other slice of genius to share your knowledge. Interestingly, we look at what do we mean by the 3 principles that she talks about. The principles are very clearly stated here. Encouraging diverse ideas to create constructively. It's ideas that clash, that come up with the best of the best. Agility, experimenting, learning, adapting quickly. More the merrier. Creative resolution, integrating opposing ideas. It's not about a fight. It's all about putting your thoughts across right there. Strong points, ideas, everything comes alive when we allow another to grow with us. Why does it even matter? If that's what you're going to ask, when I started researching, thanks to DTM Vinod Panicker, he also sent me core competencies of organizations by C.K. Prahlad. And if I was going to do that, probably I'll give a second version of Collective Genius in a couple of months. And that also I will fail because the information is unbelievable. Fellow Toastmasters, let's ask, which of this do you recognize? Do we have this? Do you see this in somebody else? Ask. Look around. Technology is booming and changing all over, no matter how brilliant we are. Just look at the AI world. The snap of a finger, new information. Snap of a finger, somebody is coming up with some new technology. And somebody like me will always keep saying, I'm coming, I'm way behind. But nonetheless, what do I do when I want to know something about technology? Paramjit ji, will you help me? Slice of genius. What do I do when I have some trouble with something when I'm doing my HPL project? DTM Tony, will you support me? When I'm doing something nice, whom do I run to? All of you. We reach out every time I connect with somebody. That is a point to say we are dipping into the slice of genius that each one of us carry. Mine is a share. Once again, I say, it is not to educate you, but to make sure that we go back and start dwelling into what the current trending world of researchers, people who think we all need to be in it together, are talking about it. All that I can say is, let's look at a simple yet profound theory, the beehive. Think about it. The architecture, the construction, its leadership. How is it thriving? Is it about the hero leading right through, the leader leading right through, or is it the culture that's leading? Culture is shaped by leadership. The beehive story is simply beautiful to say, together, everybody achieves more. All along we were talking about it, but today, when we talk about collective genius. We're talking about building families, the network of complete genius. And that for me was so alive. The bee, the queen bee sits there. There's the mother bee, the nursing, the one who does the work, the laborer who goes and brings honey, puts it right there. Do you think they're asking who's doing what? Or each one is doing, and united, they stay consistent, respecting everybody that brings the collective synergy and makes sure together something that they've put together can never be produced by one person alone. That's collective genius. It's purposeful. It's not about uniformity, not about chaos. It's purposeful interdependence. Think about it. The alignment that unlocks every slice that we talk about is what we have to look at mindfully as the genius. When I started the session, before we even got into this, I was telling Irene, I said, Irene, I'm just going to do it. Well, don't expect the fish to climb the tree. This was something which I heard several years ago. Look at somebody, and the book called Simple Truth will talk about it. You don't have to take a fish to put it on a tree and say climb, or a horse to say start swimming. We look at everybody's genius. And I'm ever so grateful that today is the day we look at it to see how much of it we contribute and we receive. We receive and we contribute, and we look at everybody like that sparkle from the diamond. We always say it is important to understand not about how wholesome we are, the entirety of I am the genius. It's always distributed slices. We should remember the we will always outperform the me. I am intelligent is going to be singing out loud to say, I know it all. Leaders have to be very sensitive. Just last week, I saw a leader who walked into the room while I was training, and in a minute, he crashed the entire training group sitting there. He not even giving a minute. He turned around and just said, if you can't do that, just decide to walk away. We don't have time for anything. We want this. I need this. He never even asked, is everything going okay? So what are you bringing to the table? It was all about me, I, myself. After that, 2 days, I'm pumping synergy into the group to say, you'll be fine. You can do it. Linda Hill has brought out so beautifully how we need to look at collective genius. The more people in it is amazing, the better the entire organization becomes. The 3 other disciplines, while they talk about this, is also, which we spoke about a few weeks ago, psychological safety. Think about it. Everything that we speak here during our leadership speak connects in some form. Well, was it something we decided to do? Absolutely not. When we asked, or when I asked the Toastmaster of the day, give me what comes to your mind, what jumps at you. Before I could say Jack, he threw this word at me. And I thought, well, he is like a professor. I'm like the bee. Fluttering, I picked information. When we talk about psychological safety, I'm sure everybody who were here for that meeting will understand. People must feel safe without having the fear. Silence, the minute it grows, remember that means safety is at stake. Second, intellectual humility. What do we mean by intellectual humility? Leaders, we call all of us as self-directed leaders, wake up. Remember, leaders must separate ego from ideas. That's a warning. Check and see. Speaking last may cause a mild discomfort. As a leader, I can't go last. I need to be out there first. Or I come last to be the loudest voice in the room. Are we doing that? Do we know people who are doing that? It's time to check, pulse check. Not for judgment, purely to see, are we aware of what is currently happening? The third structure very clearly tells you, you must have healthy debates. Conflict must be engaged and designed, never avoided. What do we mean by conflict? We ain't going to be beating up each other. There will be synergy in conflict. There will always be something that somebody says in that moment of fire that we will warm ourselves. Synergy indeed. Practically, let's look at it. Discipline without diversity creates stagnation. Discipline without diversity creates stagnation. And when we look at that tension, it will ripple collective genius. It's important for us to be practical today. I consider myself a senior, and I think I need to take a sabbatical to go learn technology. If I do that, I'm going to stagnate. However, the reward in thinking is not about obedience, but very clearly, collective genius does not emerge accidentally. Very clearly, we all should understand it is an engineering thought, a thought from leadership discipline. If I'm a self-directed leader, let's ask ourselves, am I humble? Am I there with my team? Am I truly the so-called self-directed leader? Am I going to wait for somebody to slog it off? Or am I going to say, here is my chunk? When we say, do not ever bring in your egos, because that is where you know for a fact all ideas will die. Are we here to make ideas die? Ask yourself. While I was reading Linda Hill's writer and the YouTube, we never know how many hours goes in. Your mind is going through to find out how many years did she spend studying all this. And she so beautifully puts it across to say she was with her co-collaborators, people who were with her, her colleagues, and that's where they met. She was there in Dubai, is what I read last, that she went to address a summit. That's current. I didn't know about it till I started this research. Or learning, it's not a research, pardon me. I have to say it was purely a learning. While I talk about all this, how are we doing it? Leadership is not about inspiring people. Leadership is about following together. It's about creating a condition where people are willing and are able to contribute. Do we create that kind of a space? Some slices are quiet. Some are bold slices. Some are still undiscovered. Fellow Toastmasters, I would like to leave you with this special thought. Ask yourself, why this big talk? I'm going to ask you to make 3 behavioral shifts. Speak second. When you're attending any meeting, put yourself next and tell the other person to go first. Invite opposing thoughts or ideas. Synthesize collective insight. Watch out for that one person you have probably missed out. Collective genius is all about putting the slices together in order that we have this beautiful cake for all of us to enjoy. Collective genius, it is. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jyothi. Let's give a big round of applause. Show her the emojis of clapping, love, put in comments. A great session. And to all the new members or the guests who want to become members who have not taken up this education speech role, for me, I can tell you personally, it gives you an impact of doing speeches for an entire year in a community club. If you are a community club member where you attend 25 meetings in a year and speak for 10 meetings, maybe for 50 minutes, the speech of 20 minutes, Jyothi must have practiced at least for 5 times. That is 100 minutes. So that's why I said it would be at least 5 times more impactful learning and 5x growth if you do this speech. So to all the new members and the guests who want to become members, please join, or please just put a message to our VP Education, Nicole, who is always flooded with like roles, that I want to do this particular role. Toastmaster Jyothi, you reminded me of something amazing. My mentor used to say, if 2 people agree on same thing, 1 person is not required. So that was her basic principle. She always used to say, never say yes to what I say. Always challenge my thinking, or else I am not growing. So you showed us today the backed with the research done by Harvard professor Linda Hill. You also mentioned CK Prahlad, and also a lot of personal experience shared. Thank you very much for that. So this speech, LS Leadership Speak Education Speech, is a very unique speech. As I said, it's integral part of Leadership Speak culture. Now we will move on to our regular speakers who will be following the Pathways curriculum. So first speaker is Toastmaster Nelly Jane. Toastmaster Nelly Jane is from Philippines. To evaluate her, I would like to call on someone who is most of the times with a wallpaper of eagle. And she is our police. She always keeps flag police. She always keeps a very minute eye on what is going on in the meeting. Please welcome Toastmaster Hannah. Toastmaster Hannah, the screen is all yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Nelly Jane is going to speak from the Leadership Excellence series. This is the extra roles required by Toastmasters International to complete a level. And the purpose of this project, Toastmasters International's the Leadership Excellence series is a set of presentations addressing the subject of leadership. Members will learn about the skills they will need to be successful leaders, and service and leadership discussions, how leaders serve others by offering their knowledge and skills. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hannah. Toastmaster Nelly, all the way from Philippines, what she thinks about the theme. She says that learning that leading with collective genius isn't about being the smartest in the room. It's about making the room smart together. Regarding her speech, this is from my Leadership Excellence Series presentation. I believe true collective genius happens when leaders create space for others to think, trust, and rise together. The speech would be of 10 to 15 minutes. Toastmaster Nelly Jane, leading by lifting others. Leading by lifting others, Toastmaster Nelly.
Have you ever worked so hard for a leader? Not because you were afraid of them, not also because they demanded you to do it, but because you felt seen, valued, and believed in. Because that feeling, that moment when someone believes in you even before you believe in yourself, that is a power of servant leadership. Fellow Toastmasters, leaders, guests, when you think of the word leader, what comes to your mind? Is it someone who is in front? Is it someone giving directions? Do this, do that. Or is it someone making decisions? Well, real leadership isn't about standing above people. It's about standing beside them. And a true leader serves by helping the team work together, by providing structure, by opening space for ideas, and by creating an environment where people are not afraid to grow. And so today, I want to talk about service and leadership. Not from theory, not from textbooks, but from experience. I would like to invite each and every one of you to do something for me for a moment. Think of one leader in your life. Just one leader. It could be your parents, your teacher, or your boss, your siblings, your spouse, family members, a Toastmaster, or anyone who made you feel better. Have you got that person in your mind? And if so, I want you to ask yourself, why did I follow that someone? Why did I follow that leader? Was it because I am afraid of them? That's why I just followed? Or was it because on how they made you feel? Because most of the time, we don't remember instructions. We remember leaders. We remember them because we remember their encouragement. We remember how they made us feel. When I first joined Toastmasters, I did not see myself as a leader. I saw confident speakers, strong evaluators, people who seemed so polished when they do their speech. And quietly in the corner of the room, I wondered, am I even good enough? What if they called me for the table topic section? What would I say? What if I fail? And what if I embarrass myself? I felt that. And maybe some of you felt that too when you first joined. But throughout my journey, something has changed. It wasn't a title, it wasn't a position, it was how I was treated. Someone asked for my opinion, and someone trusted me with a role, and in another role, and in another, and so on and so forth. Someone even said, "You can do this, Nelly, go." And those words mattered because they weren't just giving me task. Those words were giving me belief. And slowly, I grow. Not because I was pressured to do things, to do speeches, to do roles, but because I was supported. And that, fellow Toastmaster, that is servant leadership. And when that support spreads across the team, it creates synergy. Not competition, not comparison, but collaboration. Effective leaders understand that one of their role is to serve team members. They provide direction. They communicate the vision, the mission, the values, the goals, the plans. They explain everything. They remove the confusion. They give clarity. Because when people understood, they perform better because they know where they are going. They also foster collaboration. Leaders build teams. They delegate. They coach. They don't say, "It's okay, I'll do it myself. I'll just do it myself." They just say, "It's just simple. We can do it. Let's grow together." Effective leaders motivate achievement through feedback, through evaluation, through support, through recognition. They resolve conflict carefully. And I want to tell you a powerful reminder. The goal of many leaders is to get people to think more highly of them being the leader. But the goal of a great leader is to help people to think more highly of themselves. And that is leadership that lasts. Team leaders encourage participation. They ask for your input because your voice matters. They invite ideas. They value creativity. Next, they also facilitate communication. They listen to you, not just so that they can reply. They listen to understand, to clarify the misunderstanding. They keep everyone united and focused. Team leaders also facilitate problem solving. They don't say, "That's your problem." They say, "Let's solve this together." They also tolerate mistake because growth is kind of messy sometimes. And mistake is not a proof of failure. It is a proof that we are learning. And team leaders help team members grow. They recognize potential. Sometimes they recognize that potentials even before that person sees it themselves. They mentor, they encourage, they stretch people gently beyond their comfort zones. They persuade. And when all of these characters are present, synergy happens. Not just teamwork, not just cooperation, but a powerful alignment of strengths. When leaders serve their teams well, the organization benefits. The quality of work improves. People feel valued. Productivity increases. And because they engage people, costs are reduced. Because collaboration prevents waste and confusion, the quality improves. And because multiple minds produce better solutions than one, strong and healthier organizations were built. Just remember, when people feel valued, they became valuable. And as Sam J. Irvin said, a person who is worthy of being a leader wants power not for themselves, but in order to be of service. And that kind of leadership builds trust. Again, trust builds synergy, and synergy builds excellence. So, I will leave you with the same question I began with. Have you ever worked so hard for a leader? Not because you were afraid of them, not because they demanded you to do it, but because you felt seen, valued, believed in. And if your answer is yes, then maybe it's time for you to become that leader for someone else. TMOD.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nelly. Let's give a big round of applause. Show emojis, comments for our Toastmaster Nelly. She gave a speech from Leadership Excellence series. There are 3 core education series in Toastmaster. I think most of the Toastmasters over here are advanced Toastmasters. Let me slow down, or Helen will say that I speak fast, right, Helen? So I would say 3 education series: Better Speaking series, Club Success series, Club Excellence series, and Leadership Excellence series. And one of the series is what Toastmasters has mandated, that from level 3, you have to have at least one of the speeches from the series. Our Toastmaster Pathways expert, Toastmaster Gerda, is someone whom you can reach out if you have any doubts regarding pathways. She will help you solve that, to all the new members or even the guests if you would like to know more about the program. Thank you very much for this. The second speaker who would be presenting from the Pathways project is Toastmaster Holmes. But before calling him, let me call upon his evaluator, Toastmaster Gada. Toastmaster Gada, where are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are
Toastmaster Gada, Ramadan Kareem to you. Most
Ramadan
people
Kareem?
across the world are celebrating
Oh,
a blissful month of Ramadan. After that,
Ramadan.
there would be Eid. The screen is
Thank
all yours, Toastmaster
you.
Gada.
So, thank you. So, I am going to do the tough mission today, evaluating Holmes, his visionary communication pathway project, level 5, develop your vision. And he's gonna share his plan toward the desired collaboration across development departments, in his workplace. Collaboration can happen, and there are many ways to do this. The brief intent and learning goals speak to inspire, and the emotional intelligence. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Gada. And the timing is 5 to 7 minutes, I believe. Toastmaster Holmes, as I mentioned earlier, he is from Singapore, but joining from Malaysia today. Regarding the theme, he said, leading with collective genius means creating the conditions where diverse strengths combine so the team's shared intelligence outperform any single individual. Holmes is the club president of Leadership Toastmaster Club and Leadership Speak Toastmasters and works as a project manager in Singapore government. He believes that a collaborative spirit is central to today's workplace and encourages everyone to focus on working together. Toastmaster Holmes, toward collaboration. Towards collaboration, Toastmaster Holmes. The screen is all yours.
Thank you, TMOD. Members and guests, I have to make a small disclaimer before I continue my speech. Vinod has just shared I work for a particular organization, and whatever that I share is of personal view, not representing the entire organization. The world we live in have many large organizations, private, non-government, government, many more. And organizations exist because they work. They pool resources together for a particular goal. In my previous speech for this project, I have shared that it is my vision that different departments, different companies can work better together in a collaborative way so that the creative geniuses or the resources that an umbrella vision would be able to tap on would not go wasted because of something that's uncoordinated or working in silos. Here, I share some of my plans and some of my aspirations forward on how I believe in my own role, and I also encourage everyone here that is also in your position to be able to push for collaboration. First step, we will need to form a team, which I have as a project manager. The team itself would not only at the start, but continuously be able to articulate a common goal. In the service line, some of these common goals would anchor on higher level objectives. For example, the reliability of our service. How are we protecting customer data? Our data reliable, and is the integrity of the data intact? How are we commanding the trust, protecting the trust that our customers, our clients have placed in us? And is our overall strategy sustainable over the long term? And from this higher level, a project that I'm working on, for example, is to develop a system where multiple departments, multiple agencies even, will be able to come on a common platform where we can pool resources together, have a team who is specialized in common needs to push something forward. This is a form of building a bridge. Different departments, different interests. They are constrained by need basis. They have constraints of legal requirements, industry requirements. Yes, we do need to recognize this. But at the core essence, in my case, for human resources, human resource data, human resource documents, they are fundamentals that we can still identify so that collectively we can pool resources together to build a system, to enhance the system, so that there can be better synergy in what we are doing to protect what we need to protect and to serve better. In this process, step 2, there will still continue to be various risks. There will still continue to be various trade-offs. I have mentioned that the departments and the agencies do have their own different statutory requirements, industry requirements and standards that they need to abide by, and it still stays. Where we have here is that each of us in the team, the focus is not our own personal perspective. The focus is not even sometimes what is my department's interest or my department's ground or territory that I must protect. The focus is recognizing that different people have different interests, different perspectives, and there have been territories around, there have been boundaries around that are around because they serve their own purpose. Recognizing this, documenting down why they previously existed, and reviewing whether the same practices still serve the higher order needs that we need to achieve today with the technologies that are coming, with the social environmental changes that are coming, with the needs of the citizens and the customers that we are serving today that very well could be different from several years ago when those department boundaries and territories were formed. Higher order needs are well identified and articulated, clear documentations and clear stance that is recognized but stepped beyond. And this whole process needs to be done in third step, recognize discipline and respect. Whoever may be speaking, the rest of us, even as the project manager or the meeting chair, have to take on a discipline and a position of respect. Somebody else is speaking. Somebody else may have a completely different view than what I have. Let's hold back for a moment. Let's listen. Let's document it, some of these views down, so that following the sharing, following the brainstorming, there can be a fair and as much as possible comprehensive analysis of all the perspectives that we gathered. There may be some kind of ranking of the criteria and information, and from there, make a logical, as much as possible, impartial decision for the higher good to move ahead. In summary, where I'm presenting is that collaboration is not, it is never accidental, but it is possible. It is possible through deliberate, intentional actions, engineered processes, shared processes, shared vision. Recognize the different decisions that were made, the information, and do all this in discipline and respect. And as we go through the decisions, as we go through the meetings, the discussions, following this framework, following this step, I am confident every one of us here can become a better leader that fosters creative genius of our teams to better serve our communities. TMOD.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Holmes. Somehow, whenever you speak, you remind me of Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow, System 1, System 2 Thinking. It's always the process guy that comes into my mind. And to all the guests, Toastmaster Holmes, our president, has document for every role. And he and our vice president education make sure they send this to all the role players to align with their mentors during the practice session to go through each and every document. It's something which they are building as a legacy, and I hope many people, most of them, will read it and follow that process, and we will work towards that collaboration. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Holmes. So now we come to our third speaker. Our third speaker, before calling on the third speaker, let me call upon the evaluator. We call her the coffee queen from Africa, Toastmaster Rozy. Toastmaster Rozy, please read the evaluation for our third speaker, Toastmaster Maryam.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Our speaker, Maryam, is delivering her project level 3 speech. It's an elective. The purpose of her project is to deliver a speech with the intention of inspiring. You talked about alignment. Well, Maryam would like me to see if there's perfect synergy between her title, her structure, and the overall message. Over to you, back to you.
Thank you very much. Now, Toastmaster Maryam is from Iran. Regarding the theme, she said, leading with collective genius means creating an environment where a team's shared ideas and talent drive innovation rather than relying on one leader's vision. It focuses on empowering people to collaborate, share diverse perspective, and solve problems together. She had something good to say about Leadership Speak. She said, Leadership Speaks helps her as a business development manager. She believes that Leadership Speak has offered a great opportunity in her career journey. How can I become a better speaker and add value when I'm surrounded by strong leaders? Each of them is more than just a leader, they are inspiring role models. So you are also one of them, Maryam. Toastmaster Maryam, the power of getting back up. The power of getting back up, Toastmaster Maryam. The screen is yours.
Hello, Toastmaster. Welcome, guest. Have you ever reached a moment so heavy that it felt like the world had pressing the air off your lungs? A moment where you question your worth, your direction, and whatever, anything you will doing even matter. I have. That moment did not just challenge me, it was the transform me. In early 2020, I made a decision. I had a dream about 4 years. I start my own business, not the side project, not the hobby. A dream I had carried quietly but fiercely. Something I believe could change my trajectory of my life. I invest my saving, my energy. If I am honest with you, part of my identity into that vision. I built a plan, a strategy, an expectation. I imagine the climb, the momentum, the breakthrough moment when all the work finally paid out. Those first week, I feel electrified. I was full of the purpose. Every late night, I felt magnified. Every sacrifice felt justified. I believe if I work hard enough, success would be possible. But life never moves in a straight line. Only a few months, things change. Sale stalled, promise of the partnership disappear, expensive growth, and my confidence shrink, and hard to push things forward. I stop eating, I stop sleeping, I stop doubting. Not just doubting a business, doubting of myself. I repeat every decision, every idea, every step I had taken until my energy began to feel like illusion. I keep thinking, maybe I am cut of this. Maybe I had been fooling myself. Maybe should be run away before the things get worse. Right when I was ready to give up, my mentor called me and said to me, Maryam, you did not fail. You just discovered your version of your plan that wasn't means to work. Now you get to build the version that you will. That sentence cracked and opened something inside me. For the first time, I find failure is not the label. It was information. It wasn't the end of the road. It was redirection. It wasn't the proof. It wasn't enough. It's the proof. It was learning. So I began again. Not confidently, but courageously. And something that even more powerful inside me. I studied every decision I had made. I listened, really listening to the customer, the need. I made the smart move instead of the big move. My business started to grow. My confidence returned. And the version of the myself who want to give up became the version of the person was understood, something I wish I know sooner. Sometimes the moment that they break us, that moment they build something inside us you cannot believe. I learned the resilience is not about the effort, it's all about emotion, ourself, awareness of the ourself. That lead me in this the very important point. Your greatest power isn't avoiding a failure. It is choosing how to rise after it. So if you are going through a difficult season of your life, that moment, if you are stuck or you disappointed, remember the story doesn't end at the moment you feel. Every step forward, no matter how small, they build a strong resilience and wisdom. Real success doesn't belong to the people who never fail. It's belong to the people who get back again and again, strongly each time. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Maryam, for that wonderful speech. And with this, we would we would conclude the speaking segment of today's meeting. I would request our timer to please share the timings for all the speakers on the chat. And once that is done, I would request our Zoom master. Amazing. Thank you very much, Helen. Once that is done, yes. Before saying the best effort speaker poll is on, please vote. The one good thing is you can always vote for yourself. That way you make sure you get one vote. So we don't compete here. That's why we just say best effort speaker. We just want to see who was the speaker who put the most effort, because this club solely focuses on leadership and speaking is a part of it. Thank you very much. Okay, I think I also have to vote. Only then the toast was done by Toastmaster Holmes. The poll was pre-done, so it is Sylvia. Other than that, I think everything is perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Zoom Master. So now it's time to pass on the torch. Being the Olympic season, I would say that I will pass on the torch to our next role player, who is the general evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Robin. Now, when I asked him what does this theme means to him, he said leaders are often expected to stand alone. Standing together is when the magic happens. Toastmaster Robin Stone, the general evaluator for the day. Passing on the torch to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Holmes. Vinod, appreciate that. And I am thinking of you in your delivery. Now, my team of evaluators has got a difficult job to do because they have to find points of improvement in each of the speakers. And that makes my job even more difficult because I've got to find points of improvement for the evaluators as well. So I've got a challenge, I think they've got a challenge, and so we're going to have some fun. So this will be in 3 parts. First of all, we will get the speech evaluations, and this is where, as they say in Toastmasters, the rubber hits the road, because it's feedback that differentiates Toastmasters from just about any other similar kind of speaking organization. And of course, here we do have, as you heard, strong emphasis on leadership. Then I will ask the team in terms of the grammarian timer to give their reports, and then I'll give my own closing remarks on what I thought of the meeting. So with that, we are now going to proceed to our first evaluator, who will be evaluating the toast, and that is Paramjit. Paramjit, if you could just appear next to me, please. So, Master, if you can just bring Paramjit on, please. Thank you. Greetings, Paramjit. I'm not sure if I have greeted you yet. Like our Toastmaster of the day, Paramjit is also in the United Arab Emirates. And I must say, my daughter is also there, and she has just hired a driver for her children. So I guess these people make a lot of money in the United Arab Emirates, and that's probably why they're there. So anyway, Paramjit, you have been a Toastmaster for 5 years, and you will be evaluating the toast that was given earlier on. So Paramjit, over to you.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Robin Stone. Thank you, first of all, for Holmes, the firefighter of Leaders to Speak, who always fight with the fire. Today also, he was under fire, but he really executed very well. And Toastmaster Holmes, your toast beautifully honored the leaders who lead with collective genius. And you highlighted very well how such leaders help team members coming from different backgrounds, different perspectives, different cultural backgrounds, different experience, and they can express thoughts in front of a leader who is using collective genius, ultimately work with synergy, and ultimately shine in their life. Now, the highlight of your speech. Number one, it was perfectly aligned with the theme of the meeting, highlighting the collective geniuses. Now, number two, you use a very simple, clear words and good vocabulary in your crisp and concise and confident of toast, highlighting the how effective leaders can be if you are using a collective leadership. Number two, and your invitation for the toast was perfectly timed and the way it should be done. Unmute yourself, start videos, and that was really exemplary the way it should be done. Now, what can be done to elevate this it further? Apart from all the theories, consider using some powerful story where you have been benefited for a collective genius, either leader or as a follower. And second is your voice was little slow. But I don't know whether you're staring in the computer or your own voice. I was not able to hear few of the words, maybe at my level also. So imperfect. Overall, it was really a heartfelt and warmth toast, and exactly a toast should be. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Paramjit, for that evaluation. I think you summed up Holmes' speech very well. You gave us the highlights, and you made a suggestion of story, and then you spoke about his pace. We had a very interesting discussion on speech pace on Thursday, and we've determined that it may well be cultural, actually, why I speak slowly, why Holmes speaks slowly, and where others, for example, Vinod speaks very fast. So it's really quite interesting discussion, but thanks for your evaluation that you presented to us. Now the next evaluator will be Nelly. Nelly, you'll be evaluating our Toastmaster of the day, Vinod. And Nelly, I hope you've been taking good notes because there's been quite a lot that was done. So Nelly, over to you for your evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Vinod. Before this meeting, Vinod had asked me to look out for good energy and consistency. Vinod, your speech today demonstrated collaborative genius with good energy and consistency. Evaluating a seasoned Toastmaster is a bit like reviewing a master chef. The flavors are balanced, the timing is impeccable, and the presentation feels effortless, even though we know it's not. From the moment you took control, the meeting felt anchored. You didn't simply guide us, you commanded the current while making it look like gentle breeze. Your confidence was not loud, it was assured. You used great synergy to run the meeting. Your transitions were like silk smooth. Each segment flowed naturally with the next, with no awkward pauses, no scrambling, just steady, polished delivery. That kind of control only comes from preparation, meeting experience. I especially appreciated how you elevated each speaker in your introduction. You didn't just read titles, you framed moments. You gave each presenter a runaway worthy of takeoff. You unlocked the intelligence of many. If I was to offer one gentle advice, and with someone of your caliber, it will be to occasionally let us see just a touch of spontaneity. You mastered the structure so thoroughly that even a small unscripted spark would add another layer of brilliance. This evening, You didn't just fulfill the role, you embodied it. You made leadership look effortless. You created synergy that turned in the individual strength of every role taker into collective genius. This is a strong and powerful performance. I look forward to seeing your next speech to build on today's success. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Nelly. And Nelly, you gave a beautifully crafted speech there. And it's probably one of the most beautiful evaluations I've heard in terms of language usage and preparation. I did sense, and you will have to tell me if I am wrong, that you were reading quite a bit, because you didn't have much contact with me in terms of eye contact or with the audience. And I think that's something that we can work on. So you don't lose your beautiful language and your crisp evaluation. Quite amazing. But I think at the same time, you've got to try and do that tricky thing of keeping eye contact with us. So well done. Thank you very much. We now move on to our next evaluator, who will be Joyce. So Joyce, you can bring her up, please. Thank you. Joyce, it's great to see you as well today. Like me, you're working on your DTM, and what you have said about the theme is everybody is unique and brings a unique perspective. We've seen that one a number of times. So over to you for your evaluation of our education speaker. Good luck with that.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and I am excited and elated to be evaluating Jyothi today. Slice of genius. It caught my attention and I was looking forward to knowing more what you wanted to say. They say the first 45 seconds, they determine what people will think or whether they will follow what you're saying. I had several takeaways today. You reminded us that leaders need to encourage diverse ideas, not just dominating the room, but just encouraging other people to speak. You also gave us an example of a leader who disrupted your meeting and you had the work of energizing the people the next day. That came out very strongly. You also reminded us that together we achieve more. You put the prop where you had the bee and the laborers, the mother bee, all of us to get a collective action. Your speech also had principles that we took home and we will remember them for a very, very long time. For example, creative aversion, creative agility, and creative resolution. You also had a collective call to action that resonated with us and had to think about it, and we will still think about it even after this meeting. That is speak second, invite opposing view, and synthesize collective insight. So what did you do well this evening? You had use of props. Use of props, they encourage, they help us relate with the speech and also emphasize on your points more. You also had good tone variation. You had places you went up and places you went down. Like, for example, when you're engaging us how to behave in those rooms when things are going wrong and things are going well. You also had excellent Zoom presence. You stood well. We had good eye contact. Your gestures were well. We could see you very well. You did not block the content. Very well done. We need these as leaders. So what am I encouraging you to challenge yourself? I note you're a very fast speaker. Coincidentally, you had very good points, but I noted by the time we are going to to the next point or listening to the good point that you're putting right now, you already had moved to the next. So my point would be slow down. Let us first digest what you're saying. You give a command by that. When you take pauses, we are also able to digest what you're saying. Otherwise, Jyothi, that was an excellent speech, and I look forward to listening to more of your speeches. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Joyce. I think you gave a summary of the speech, and you also mentioned a point of improvement in terms of speech rate. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of discussion about the rate at which we speak naturally and how that comes through in our speeches at Leadership Speak. Just as a matter of interest, you too very fast. So it's just something to bear in mind. And I would give the same advice to you to also slow down a bit. I think you probably gave too much time to the summarizing the points of the speech. And really, one should perhaps move more into the evaluative elements. That's all I can suggest for you. But otherwise, thank you very much. We now move on to the speech evaluations, and our first evaluator will be Hannah. So let's go over to Hannah. And she says, by the way, Hannah comes from my district, although she lives quite a long way away in a different country. And I'm not sure if I've ever met Hannah at a conference or anything like that yet. We will probably meet up at some time. Hannah says that the best ideas really come from one person. Many minds think together when everyone feels safe to contribute and share ideas. I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. And Hannah, over to you for your evaluation.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Toastmaster friends and Nelly Joyce. From the beginning, when your opening line, you captured my attention with a clear message, with your informative and inspirational speech. What is my takeaway? From the start, I stood next to you and walked with you, eager to learn all about the power of servant leadership. I, as a member, obviously, of Leadership Speak, have learned all about the skills I will need to be a successful leader. Foster collaboration goes with it. You engage the audience with your question about thinking about their leader and even mentioned the children. Yes, we can all learn from our children, even from our siblings and babies. You were extremely expressive when delivering your speech by using all the presentation skills you have learned at Leadership Speak, and as a Toastmaster, including vocal variety with gestures, using what we call the HPL very successfully. High, pauses, low, when it mattered in your speech, that you demonstrated very clearly. Your pauses were to the point. Your PowerPoint presentation was effective and not too crowded. Usually they distract from the message. I have a challenge for you. Hand gestures and body language greatly strengthen and communicate a message. Use your frame effectively. Go a bit higher that one can see a bit more of you to boost this effective even more. I notice your gestures, but they didn't achieve their full impact. And the same applies with your eye contact. A person, you quoted, a person who is worthy of being a leader wants power, not for himself, but in order to be of service for others. Very well done. It is so relevant to us. You completed the speech circle by referring back to the start. Add another 3 minutes to your speech. You only used 11 minutes. You could have used far more. Nelly Jane, this was a strong performance. Your message, leading by lifting others, is successful and to the point. And you met all the objectives of this project. Congratulations. I am looking forward to your next project. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Hannah. Well, yes, we have a master, a true master at work, and it's wonderful to see you and hear your evaluations. So, Hannah, I only have one issue to mention to you, and that is, it appeared to me that either you were looking at another screen other than this one that you're looking at now, or you were looking at somebody else in the room. So you were shifting your gaze frequently, and I was left wondering what are you actually doing. But even with that, I think you could focus more on the camera, which I always forget to do myself. So, but very well done to you. It really is an amazing evaluation. Thank you. We will now go on to Garda. You are evaluating our second speaker, Garda, and you have said voices need to be heard. When ideas collide, together we create solutions which we could have not have built alone. And I think that's so true. So, Garda, over to you for your evaluation.
Thank you, General Evaluator. First, I need to declare to our president, sorry for any inconvenient feedback. This is my declaration as you did, Holmes. So, you delivered a well-structured and encouraging speech about collaboration in the workplace. The message was clear, relevant, and effectively connected with the audience. Your required declaration at the beginning was very, encouraging us to declare the same in same positions. You not only encouraged others to collaborate, but included yourself in the message, positioning yourself as part of the journey, and that built credibility and reliability. Well-organized, structured, with relevant examples. You gave us examples about each step, like, for instance, common goals, examples of basics, protecting, respecting, and they were logical structure. Each point was supported with examples, and the organization helped maintain clearly and made the content easy to flow. And I believe that you connected well with the audience. The delivery style created engagement, maybe some, I would rather like areas of improvement to encourage some questions and some ideas from the audience. And here, the second thing, that the opening, I would suggest to be more catchy, grabbing, and you may have some power like statistics or short story or something. like that to catch the audience. I found that the speech is more encouraging rather than inspiring. And also, you may put some like or mention some challenges why people do not encourage new perspectives and ideas, and that would make the message more powerful and actionable. Overall, thank you for this discussion of evolving a new perspective, and the speech was encouraging, and thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. God, I like that, encouraging rather than inspiring. I don't think I really have heard that one before. One of the things that I'm increasingly learning myself with regard to how we do things at Leadership Speak is that every evaluation is also a speech. And so it also has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And we heard that from one of our evaluators earlier on. So we've got to try and move beyond the kind of evaluation which we would give would be perfectly acceptable at a community club to actually moving into a well-structured speech, if you like. Something I'm learning and something I think we all need to learn. But thank you for your efforts with that. And now we move to my fellow African, although also a long way away. That is Rozy, to come and do the next evaluation. And Rozy, of course, you're very well known, but what you said is interesting. I think you said leadership is about seeing potential in others. Leadership is not being a hero. It makes others the hero. Wow, profound saying. So thank you for that, and over to you for your evaluation.
Thank you very much, my fellow African, too. It is my privilege to be evaluating this very inspiring speech by Maryam. Maryam, you, right from the beginning, dived in with a beautiful story, emotional story. And one of the very, very strong points in that story, as you built the conflict, or you built that desire, that passion that you had to meet your dream, was your use of language. There's some sentences I wrote down that I want to read out. You said how you carried your dream quietly but fiercely, and how this was going to define the trajectory of your life. You had a strategy. You were electrified. You believed you're going to work so hard, and if you work hard enough, you will be successful. Somewhere down, you used another word. Some moments that break us could be the moments that will build us. All in all, this language or these sentences were more than just simple sentences. They evoked emotional imagery, and that lends to the inspiration which your speech had. After giving us that powerful setup, you then talked about the failure that you had because life happened, and reminded us or came to us to tell us that the greatest moment or the biggest point of awareness is when you can rise despite having worked so hard and failed. Beautiful structure. You wanted to know whether your structure was inspiring, and indeed it was. You carried us, we were engaged throughout. Strong, powerful delivery with your words and the way you took and commanded the stage with the storytelling. Now, how could we elevate this to be even more inspiring? I felt there were two pivotal moments in your story where the energy could have shifted. For instance, when you failed, you continued with the same energy, and what you said was, life happens, I stopped eating, I stopped drinking. This was a moment where you should have really brought in that desolate desperation, how you were finished, how depressed you were, how horrible you felt. If you shifted that energy, it would have truly added, because this was the moment of fracture. Fracture brings tension, and tension adds to inspiration. This is an opportunity. If you're taking this speech further, use it again. The second part was when your mentor, I think it was your mentor, you spoke a bit fast there, said something to you. I think it was something like, this was not the best version for your path. I didn't get the exact words, but this was where the lesson came to you. The mentor is the one who made you lift up. Give us that sentence. This is not your best version. Pause, let it land, let us digest it, and then ask us, have you ever worked so hard and failed? Has somebody come to your rescue or something? Yeah. And then we would have loved to know what success you've had today after rising up again. Beautiful speech, inspiring as was the purpose. Language truly elevated the inspiration. You have moments or opportunities to shift that energy, to bring out that sadness and to bring out that lesson, so that we can truly carry home a lesson, a takeaway, but feel greater inspiration. I thoroughly commend you for such a delivery. Thank you. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Rosie. I actually wish I could just sit and listen to you carrying on, because I think you are an absolutely wonderful speaker and you're very infectious, and you sort of convey emotion to us very clearly in a very powerful way.
Thank you.
But as you know, the clock is always against us. And I suspect, as we'll see from our timer, that you went a little bit over time there. So I think you're going to just have to cut down on the emotion and bring in the constrain yourself within the time. Thank you. And I see the poll is already there. So please sort of vote for your best effort evaluator today. And timer, have you submitted already in the chat the times?
Yes.
I see. Thank you very much. You have. Yes, I see Rosie did go quite a bit over there. So yeah, but thank you very much for that. I think we now, is the poll closed? Have sufficient voted? Okay, we can then move on to the next section, which is reports. We've already had the timekeeper has given us her reports in the chat. So now we move on to our grammarian, and I feel a bit cheated because I haven't had the chance to talk much about synergy, but I will be speaking about it when I do my summing up. So grammarian, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. This evening, I have seen the synergy of all our wonderful speakers on the stage tonight and the evaluators. There has been multiple extensive usage of the word of the day, synergy, and it has been used for 15 times. And there have been 2 queens for the evening, and you all know who.
Thank you for using the word extensively. Moving on to the improper grammatical usage, I'm awed and inspired by all of you. I just couldn't come out with something, but only what I saw that some of you began the sentence with "so your speech." So probably that could begin with the affirmation instead of shows. The next is I had a couple of good usage, and there was like crystal ball. Then every person carries a slice of genius. This is always going to be with me. I like the metaphor of beehive architecture and construction. That was amazing. Distribute slices. We will always outperform me. It stays in my mind forever. Then I also liked the quote which has already been referred to by Nelly's quote: a person who is worthy of being a leader wants power not for himself but in order to be of service. There was umbrella vision. Collaboration is not accidental. It is deliberate intention, engineered vision, shared process, and fosters creative genius. About in the evaluations, there was some transition silk smooth, pivotal energy. The movement of fracture brings tension and adds energy. Those were something that I can take away with. Apart from that, you all did an amazing job. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate the report, which I think was effective. And I think the concept of synergy was used in this meeting extensively. I'm not talking about the word, I'm talking about the way the speeches were structured and the various contributions. There was synergy in that. So there's my contribution to the word synergy. Now, let me get to my general evaluation. First of all, I actually did like the meeting, and I found some of the speeches, which I might comment on now, really, really meaningful and really excellent. The one thing that does concern me a bit, a couple of things, is that the meetings are supposed to be prepared up to 2 weeks in advance. I didn't get the sense that that was happening with this particular meeting. And in fact, I only got onto the group on Thursday, even though I'd been appointed as General Evaluator a while back. And I'm not sure why that is, what went wrong. That shouldn't have happened, but I couldn't see that anybody else was part of the group either. I might be wrong. If so, please correct me. So I think it was also reflected in the fact that we only had 3 speakers when we're supposed to have 5, and we had standing in and so on. We've got over 50 members in this club. We shouldn't really have this particular problem, not in my opinion anyway. I think the one thing, by the way, to counter that was on Thursday evening, the Toastmaster of the day was there. And that helped a lot in actually planning this particular meeting. So often I find on a Thursday, Toastmaster of the day is nowhere to be seen. And that's not a good practice. So Toastmaster of the day, please attend the meeting so you are able to direct. I want to just make a comment on the educational speech. I don't think one can emphasize enough what an excellent speech this was. It was absolutely brilliant the way it was constructed. the way it was put together. But I had to laugh on the idea of fish climbing trees, because when I was a kid, I had one of those look and learn annuals, and in it was an article about fish that do climb trees. And I can't remember. It was somewhere swampy, maybe Philippines or somewhere in Malaysia, somewhere like that. Maybe one of you would know where this actually happens and have some experience of that. I found it incredibly interesting. So just by way of comment, the Leadership Excellence series being used to fill a speech slot. I'm not sure it's actually designed for that. My concern is that if you look at the Leadership Excellence series, and indeed the others, they allow for discussion. And that's the whole point. You present it in a club, then people can ask questions and clarify issues and so on. Doesn't come across in this. So planners, have a real look at that and how we can actually incorporate that in this club, rather than just giving another educational after the one we just had. I think it would just add a bit of dynamism to the whole presentation. Our timer was efficient and good, and I appreciate that, because she was the one who was saying that some of us speak too fast, and that's good that we were made aware of that. And SAA plowed through the script in a very competent manner. I think the leadership need to relook at that script, where it is placed in the meeting, whether it's necessary at all, and that sort of thing. The grammar is also quite bad, so we need to do a bit of work there. Otherwise, thank you once again for the excellent meeting, Vinod. I think you led it very well, and I appreciated your leadership here. And the theme, I think it all worked. So back to you, Toastmaster Dida.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Robin Stone. And let me request everyone to unmute and give a round of applause to our General Evaluator, because he really deserves that. I felt after a very, very long time, I was seeing a mirror, like the club, you showed mirror to the club, and that is one of the key reason why I joined Leadership Speak. So really appreciate that. And you have an amazing voice, Robin. Like I felt I was listening to an Hollywood movie scene from Taken. I will find you and I will hurt you. Something of that sort. But amazing. Thank you very much. This is something which we are looking for in Leadership Speak. Honest observations and honest, you put it in a very honest way. And I completely agree with most of the suggestions that you have done. And I think Holmes and the entire XCOM team has written down, and we will work on that surely. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, General Evaluator. So now, the speeches have finished, the evaluations have finished. There is one special segment, again, which is very unique to Leadership Speak. To all the guests, the link to know more about Leadership Speak is already there. You can just find it, fill it. Somebody will connect, because you are one of the most important people. This is what has been told to me, so I keep repeating this. So please put your name and details so that some of our members can connect. Wait, because our president would like to talk to you after the meeting. And also, if you like to share your feedback or do some table topics, we will be doing that. But before that, I would like to call someone who would be presenting Thought of the Day. Now, this person is very special. She is from France, and currently there is a carnival going near her house. She is somehow surviving it. She's been a Toastmaster for 3 years and immensely proud to be a part of Leadership Speak, the premier club. She says about the theme, leading with collective genius means to create space where diverse people, ideas, experiences come together to achieve stronger results than any one leader alone. Please put your hands together for the current area director, Toastmaster Sonia. Toastmaster Sonia.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Leading with collective genius. We often think that being a leader means having all the answers. But leading with collective genius shifts the focus. Leadership is not about being the smartest person in the room, but rather creating the conditions where many minds can think together. Personally, I witnessed that the strongest results in teams, projects, and also here in Toastmasters do not come from one brilliant mind alone. They come from asking the right questions and then intently listening. One idea that stood out to me today was the importance of creating a space for different perspectives, different experiences, and different ways of thinking. When we create that space, something really powerful is happening. Ownership shifts from my idea to our solution. Leadership moves from control to orchestration. Leading with collective genius does also not mean adding more intelligence to the room, but unlocking the intelligence that is already there. It means listening deeply, collaborating intentionally, and trusting that together we are stronger than any one of us alone. And as Jyothi, our educational speaker, put it, we will always outperform the me. Leading with collective genius. Back to you, Vinod, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sonia. You actually summarized the theme for me also. Very nicely done. Means you captured the essence of the entire theme. So now, before giving it to our president for the feedback, let me have my closing remarks. Then I will give it to our president. And then I will take back for the guest interaction. The guest interaction will be done by the president. Forgetting about the theme and all the abstract thing about leadership, because it's very difficult to define leadership. I think it's more abused than used, like in the real world. Nobody knows exactly what leadership is, how to define it, what are the types of leadership, what gives you result, and all these things. Personally, I have never considered, or let me frame it in a nice way. For a very long time, I used to think people who don't have better work to do in life become leaders in Toastmasters. And it was only 5 years before when I stepped on to become a division leader, then I really understood how big this responsibility is. Because one good meeting and a spark in a member, it can change their life. They can get promotion, they can start speaking in meetings, they can start creating their own stories, they can start writing their stories. And that is what mattered to me. So as I began, what Dr. Ralsei Smedley said, Toastmasters is a laboratory. It's a means to an end. But magic happens in the club. And in Leadership Speak, we have that opportunity not once, not twice, but 3 times in a week if you want to be there. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And that is the only way we can collectively unlock potential of each other. This Thursday, while we were having our practice session, after the practice session, we were discussing for almost 30 minutes. What we were discussing, as our general evaluators spoke about, pace, pitch, Then we went to method acting, internalize acting, and we went to a totally different tangent. And that's how we learn things, through discussion and discourse. That's the only way that you actually learn. Because even if you're learning from a book, the book will never throw an idea against it, an idea that you have. But when you are having a discourse with someone in the most safe environment, they will question you or challenge you. Is this right? And that's how the collective genius is unlocked. So, my dear friends and Toastmasters and guests, conflict without ego is the best thing that can happen. Challenge everything in life. And as I mentioned, if you agree to something, you are not required there. You can just be quiet. So have that mentality that you need to unlock the potential. I believe DTM Rozy had mentioned it very well, that a leader is someone who identifies something in that and creates a space. So one of the best research ever done was Project Aristotle by Google, and Google has a lot of data. 2012 to 2014, they came up with 5 key points where how a team can be most efficient, and the number one was psychological safety. The next 4, please do chat GPT or Google and study on your own. But this club provides that and much, much more. So to the guest and to the new members, take up roles. To the guest, just become member and start taking up roles. That's it. So with this, I would like to conclude and be part. I will be, as long as this club is there, I will be part of it. I am a charter member of this, and I know the potential of this club. We have not even touched the surface. We may claim that we are the best in the world, best 5, that all doesn't matter. I want to see members completely changing their life. I have seen Jyothi from day one. I have seen Maryam. I have seen speech today. I have seen a lot of other members. So when I see this growth, this is the reason why I'm still in this club, and I will continue to be here. Thank you very much. And back to you, President Holmes, for the guest interaction.
Thank you, TMOD. I'd like to invite a few guests to share some comments. Marty Varela, are you available?
It looks like just one.
I'm sorry, can you say what you were asking me again, please?
I'd like to invite guests such as yourself to share some comments about the meeting. By the way, are you available to also turn on your camera if it's convenient?
It's not convenient, but I'll turn it on because it's polite since you've asked. I am really delighted to have been invited today. I have to be honest. I did not know what to expect, and it is very early for me where I am. It started at 5:30 in the morning my time, so it was really good that there was a lot of useful content. I can tell you, overall, I was a little distracted because it seemed that many of the speakers were reading. I do understand that reading is sometimes necessary. I would encourage you to position your script right underneath the camera so that we don't know that you're reading, because while it's necessary, it's distracting to us. Every time you look over, you look up, you look down. When you're not looking at me, I feel like you're not talking to me. And since this is an advanced club, I have advanced expectations. But when you consider that this was more than 2.5 hours of a Toastmasters meeting, it was very engaging. I do have to say that your general evaluator did an exceptional job in my estimation. That is a superpower for your club, and I hope that you all listen to him. And I think that it's really important for a club as large as yours that you should not have gaps. You should be filled every time that you meet. But they're obviously stellar Toastmasters in this club, and I'm so delighted to have been able to see you in action and hear from you. And I'm very grateful that I was invited by Hannah to participate today. Thanks for giving me a chance to share my observations.
Thank you so much, Marty. I deeply appreciate that you're waking up early and you're here. Thank you so much. Let me invite some other guests to comment. Treka, are you available? Treka Savadako?
Yes, hello. I am not coming off camera because I too got up at 5:30 this morning. Um, and I am involved in a project right now where I'm touring clubs around the world. In the past year, I've visited over 100 clubs. I have never seen a club like this before. This club actually walks the talk about building leaders. And I was really surprised that Toastmasters took down the tagline about "This is where leaders are made." They eliminated that from their language. And I was like, I think that's because they couldn't fulfill the promise. Most clubs do not operate at this level. And I think it's a strong commitment of the leaders to hold the standards really high, to create a framework that has expectations. And this process that this particular club has about evaluating every single speaking role is wonderful because every role matters and they shape the standards that we live by. And so getting feedback full circle on every role is wonderful. And I can't tell you how many meetings, hundreds of meetings that I've been to where they're trying to fill roles at the last minute. And I study the nervous system. And what happens is it takes 20 minutes for the body to recover from that stimulation before the brain fully engages again in the meeting. So that sloppiness that so many clubs allow, I'm so grateful to see it not happen here. And keeping the standards really high. It's super wonderful. And I really appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you very much. And Marty, thank you for sending me a message at 2:30 in the morning, reminding me of this club. It's great to have Toastmaster friends who call you into greater moments. And Marty is a dear friend of mine. So thank you.
Thank you
Thank
too,
you for
Treka.
coming. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Treka. Deeply appreciate the two of you. I do want to make a short clarification before we move on to end the meeting. Throughout this meeting, all the speakers, aside from the two guests that I've called, are members of the club. And typically, aside from a keynote speaker, which usually it's someone who is known internationally, invited as a keynote speaker, our club has not gotten guests to take up roles, as far as I know, and as far as in my term as president. That has been the practice of the club, and what has enabled this is indeed our over 60 members, which is from over 30 countries. So very appreciative for all the members who have been committed to the club. Nevertheless, I do acknowledge in many meetings, life does happen. And out of the 20, sometimes 25 or more members that we assign to the different roles, emergencies do happen. What I'm still proud and happy to say is that when those emergencies happen, there are sufficient other members who are experienced enough in the club and understand our club standards that can step up. They have, and I'm confident they will continue to step up and deliver what is needed so that the meeting as a whole continues. And each of our meeting, we always welcome guests because we host it as if it is an open house. This is the standard that each year, each meeting, Leadership Speak holds ourselves accountable to. With that, I like to hand back the time to our TMOD, who will conclude this meeting as well as host a short post-meeting discussion. TMOD.
Thank you very much, President Holmes. So before concluding, I would just like to request our Zoom master to present the awards also for the best speaker, best effort speaker, and the best effort evaluator. So let's see who is the best effort speaker and the best effort evaluator for today's Collective Genius meeting. Thank you very much, PR Master Lydia. I can see that you are sharing the screen, and the best speaker, effort speaker is Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas. And the best effort evaluator is DTM Rozy Rana. Thank you very much. So it would be, I would say that without thanking each and every role player, I cannot conclude. Right from our greeter, Toastmaster Hannah, who had doubled up for a role of evaluator as well as greeter, our PR master, Toastmaster Lydia, our Zoom master, Toastmaster Aruna, of course, all the role players. And as I said, the magic happens during practice, and I saw most of them during the practice session. So for me, it was an amazing session, and I enjoyed. And I am someone, if no matter whatever changes, even if everybody backs up, if 3 people are there, I will be chilled and I will conduct the meeting. So that is something my mentor had taught me long time ago. And that is one reason, like there were actually 3 means physical meetings where only 4 members were there, but we conducted it like a world-class meeting. So that thing is always with me. In a Toastmasters meeting, it doesn't matter how many people are there, each role matters. Conduct it in the most professional way. I learned it 8 years ago from my mentor, and I carry that. And that is something which, like what you say, I would like to pass it on to other members also. It'll be chill. Like, the world is not going to end. It's a Toastmasters meeting. Come on, after 2 hours, it's going to finish, and you'll have coffee and happen this, like what you say, go home. But we need to maintain our standards. That's it. Never compromise on standards, no matter how much less or how much more members are. So we can stop the recording, and let me start by asking the interacting session.